Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to talk about Vince Gilligan's most recent interview, which is probably one of the stupidest interviews I've ever heard. And it surprises me because Vince Gilligan, I used to think he was a really good writer, and now it's like I'm really having severe doubts. It's like an LA Noire where you have the little notebook and, you have to press doubt, you have to press accuse or truth or lie. You have all these buttons, and it's like I am pressing the doubt button right now on Vince Gilligan and his writing talent, because the stuff that he said just completely blows my mind. It's really like it's on another level of stupidity. In the same way that Walter, the fantastic character Walter White, in the same way that he graduated to different levels of being a meth kingpin, Vince Gilligan is starting to graduate on different levels of being stupid. And this first level, let's talk about it. Let's talk about exactly what he said, because I was just dying to talk about it when I first read it. So number one, he said he's still trembling and shaking in fear over the sexist backlash against Skyler. Well, let's talk about that. Let's break that down, because here's the thing. Skyler, I don't know what sexism has to do with Skyler. I don't know what that has to... Just because she's a female character means we're not allowed to criticize her. Like, just because she has a different genitalia than a man means we're not allowed to criticize her. We're not allowed to say she's trash, she's garbage, she's annoying, she's irritating. She breaks the fantasy element of the show in the first 3 seasons because of how irritating she is. Her character destroys the fantasy because you are in the perspective of Walter, and you want to watch each season him doing drug stuff with Jesse. You want to see him. You want to see him win. You want to see him succeed. You do not want to see Skyler yelling at him and saying, "I fucked Ted," and saying, you have to only eat turkey bacon, and, smoking when she's pregnant. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. She gets better in seasons 4 and 5, especially season 5, because in that season you realize they were really meant for each other, and that they were perfect for each other, and it was really great, their romance. They were a great couple. She stood by him. She was loyal to him. She helped him all the way to the end, and that was the best part of her character. Why? Because that's when her character fit into the fantasy, instead of breaking the fantasy by questioning, by, getting mad that he's a drug kingpin. Like, who cares? Like, it's a show. It's a fantasy, and any character who breaks that fantasy bubble is going to piss off the audience. And so it has nothing to do with the genitalia in between her legs. I mean, please, can someone clue me in? Like, can someone clue me in on, like, when someone mentioned her genitalia? Like, can someone clue me out, like, oh, Skyler, I really hated her genitalia. I've never seen it before, but I really hate it. Like, whoever said that in the entire history of Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad fans? Like, there's literally no one. It's a complete myth and a complete fabrication in order to distract from the fact that she's a trash character until the final 2 seasons. But here's the thing, like, even though she's trash, she is realistic. And so, even though her character is trash, like, that element of realism is appreciated. And it's not like it's the actress's fault. The actress is just doing the shitty character that they wrote for her. And, sometimes actors have to play shitty people. and then they take a lot of backlash for it. Like, remember the guy who played Scorpio in Dirty Harry? He got death threats. He got a ton of backlash. And did anyone say that it was misandrist backlash? No, because they never mentioned his penis, okay? It had nothing to do with Scorpio's penis. That has nothing to do with why people sent him death threats and why he was considered a hated character. It was because he was fucking evil, and he was irritating, and he was sleazy, and God, that character, I really was so happy at the end of that movie when Dirty Harry went bam. That was so awesome at the end when he gets his, like, he deserved it. That character deserved it, and we did not just hate his character. His genitalia did not come into as a factor. And it's the same thing with the Skyler character. Like, what does her genitalia have to do with anything? Nothing whatsoever. Because she's not the only female character on Breaking Bad. Okay, you got Marie. Marie stood by her husband since season 1. She stood by her husband since ever. She has always been a fantastic character. There's only been a couple of times in the show where she's been kind of annoying or done something shitty. Especially when she wanted to kidnap Holly. That was pretty, didn't like that. But she was a great character, and she wasn't annoying. She wasn't, telling Hank, and Hank wasn't doing anything bad, but let's just say that Hank was the drug dealer, like Walter said that he was, or he said that he was forcing Walter to do it. That was really good. But let's just say that Marie told Hank, I don't like, you're a drug kingpin, I'm going to divorce you. I'm taking everything from you. I'm taking your children from you. You can't live in this house. And it's like, I would hate Marie too. I would hate Marie just as much as Skyler. So, genitalia has nothing to do with it. What about the other female characters? What about Lydia? Lydia, the goddess. The great Lydia. The fantastic Lydia. The most character in the entire series. She is a sociopath. She is evil. She is pure evil. And yet I love her character. I think she's awesome. She was very unique and fun. And she created a lot of conflict. And she was really a awesome character. And even if I didn't like her, if I was criticizing her, I'd just get called sexist by these people, apparently. And it's like, wait a second, she's a sociopath. She kills people. She's a criminal. She's done a lot of bad stuff. And just because she's a female doesn't mean she's invincible from criticism. And so, if anything, I would say that the people who criticize the people who criticize these characters are the sexist ones. Because it's like, come on. Every show has that annoying character. Every show has a Skyler. Nowadays, they call Skylers Karens. Every show has this type of character, though. Like, going all the way back, or even any character, like any character on any show has bad moments. I'll give you guys an example. Andy Griffith's show. I love that show. I've seen that show so many times over and over and over again. In certain episodes where Andy has to deal with Opie, it's really sickening and evil and negative the way that he treats Opie. The way that, like, he doesn't give him the benefit of the doubt. He goes straight to discipline, as if his son, he just has so little faith in his son that it just goes straight to, okay, you're obviously bad. And there's one episode in particular, Mr. McBeavy, where Opie has this person who he met in the forest, and he sounds like a mystical figure. But it turns out he's just a telephone pole worker. And Andy, he's telling Opie, stop it, quit it, he doesn't exist, I'm not going to go quote-unquote meet him, he's just an imaginary friend. And he's threatening to whip his son because he has an imaginary friend or he met someone. Like, that is just sick. That is just so sick and evil and negative. And he almost he gets close to whipping his son because he told him the truth. And then we find out, oh yeah, he is real dipshit. And it's like, he had some bad moments like that, Andy Griffith. And, you know, I never heard anything about, if you criticize Andy Griffith, you're a misandrist. Because, you know why? Because for some reason, when you criticize male characters, people can acknowledge that it has nothing to do with what's in between their legs. But whenever you criticize a female character, it's always straight to what's in between their legs. And so let's go to some other annoying characters in shows, because there's always that one annoying character. Let's go to, let's see. I'm trying to think of one good one that would really, really help explain the point. Okay, Levon. Levon is just, he takes the cake. Californication, one of my favorite shows of all time. Levon, in the final season, he is the son of the main character, Hank, illegitimate bastard son. And they purposefully made him the polar opposite of Hank in order to make it, like, funny. But it was so unfunny, and he was so annoying and cringeworthy, and he was so, I hated Levon. I hated that little shit. That little, I fucking hated Levon. You guys have no idea the pain that Californication fans had to go through seeing that the son of Hank Moody was Levon. Oh, I mean, oh God, he beat everything. Like, guys, let's talk about Levon.
He had this annoying voice like this, like, "Hi, Dad, I'm Levon. I'm your son. I just thought you should know. So are you gonna fuck my mom or what? You fucked my mom before."
Like, that is what this fucker sounded like. That is what Levon from Californication gave us on a weekly basis for a season. He did something called the stink finger, okay? When you upset Levon. When you upset Levon. I have PTSD from this bastard. He does the stink finger where he sticks his finger right up his ass, and then he puts it in your face and makes you sniff it. And he says, here's the stink finger. Comes the stink finger. And that's, oh God, if that's not bad enough, if that's not cringeworthy and gross enough, he does something, he goes up to female employees that he likes, and when he gets embarrassed, he pulls down his pants and flashes them his giant wiener. And and his mom is played by Heather Graham, and she's like, yeah, he has a problem with showing girls his wee-wee. And it's like, God, this is so bad. This is so terrible. And it doesn't stop there, folks. It doesn't stop there. Hank orders him a hooker, and they spend a whole episode debating if he should have sex with a hooker or not so that he can get over his horniness. Like, and then he ends up doing it, and then it only gets worse from there. He ends up developing a hooker addiction, and he ends up spending all of his dad's money on his credit card to get with this hooker who looks kind of like Selena Gomez. And that is Levon. Okay? Levon's a man, by the way. Okay? And he was the worst character of the whole show. Now, are you going to say that because I criticize Levon, I'm a misandrist? No, obviously not, because that's just ridiculous. It's a straw man. It's a non-existent argument, and it's stupid. And now here's the second thing that Vince Gilligan said. He said that Breaking Bad was rigged for you to like Walter White. Like, duh! Duh! Whoa, wow, a show is rigged for you to like the main character? Duh! Have you ever heard of a show where the main character isn't likable and you watch the entire series? Like, bruh, there's a reason why Monk had a wife. There's a reason why Monk was very, very annoying. That show, he was so obsessive and needy and just so queer and anal, and like, just, he was so obsessive of the details of everything. Like, I have to order this in this certain way. I can't eat the same foods in the same plate. He was the worst. But guess what? He was very, very likable because he took down bad guys. He took down criminals. He was a badass. He had so many badass moments. I could devote a whole video to how badass Adrian Monk was. And he had a wife who died, and she's kind of like his sympathy card. And it's helpful for his character because it's like, he didn't used to have this problem until she died, really. It got so much worse because she died, and his character, he's really, really likable, even though he's this obsessive, irritating person. Like, The Sopranos. People love The Sopranos. Is that guy a great character? No. But guess what? He's the main character. He's the protagonist. We are going to attract to the protagonist. The protagonist of Breaking Bad, the last I checked, was not Skyler. If the protagonist of Breaking Bad was Skyler, the show wouldn't have gone past one season. Okay? Because let's be honest. Nobody wanted to watch a show about a wife who has a midlife crisis and cheats on her husband and thinks that he's cheating on her. Nobody wants that show. What would have been called? Breaking Skyler? Oh, that'd be the porno parody. Did somebody make that already? Can somebody write that down? Somebody go make that porno gold right there. Breaking Skyler. You can do the sequel, Breaking Kim, if you want. You gotta have that ponytail go whoosh, 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 whoosh. And just have a big sound effect too. Don't even have it be the natural sound effect of her ponytail just going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Have a really loud sound effect accompanying it to make it that much more impressive. As it is. It is an impressive ponytail. And we won't get into any more details than that. So, her character was not the focal point of the show. And obviously, you can have different perspectives on all the characters. I mean, the whole universe prides itself on being a universe about gray characters, where nobody is purely good or purely evil. You had that whole speech that Mike gave in Better Call Saul, where he said that I've seen good criminals and bad cops and all that. You know, he did a whole speech about this type of shit. And for some reason now, we've forgotten all about that. And so he said that Vince said that he sympathizes with Walter less and less. And it's like, it's just so sad because he basically just admitted right there why Better Call Saul failed. Because in the middle of making Better Call Saul, Vince had a midlife crisis where he decided, I don't like Walter anymore, and I don't like Jimmy either. I like Kim because Kim is like Skyler, and I don't want Kim to get hated like Skyler. I want her to be like the redemption for what happened with Skyler. And so he ended up focusing everything on Skyler, Kim, turning the entire show into Better Call Kim just because of what happened years and years ago where fans did not like Skyler. By the way, I really like Skyler in the final 2 seasons, but I guess since I didn't like her the first 3 seasons, I'm a sexist. I'm an ist, I'm a phobe, blah, 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 blah. So that's what he said, and I just think it's a bunch of bullshit, but it shows that he really, really changed the whole show to tailor fit his agendas with Skyler and Walter, and how his perspectives on them have changed over the years. And it's really weird because Better Call Saul started out to where I loved Kim and I loved Jimmy. As the show went along, it was like they were forcing you to hate Jimmy and love Kim. And it was a stupid thing to do, especially when they made such close comparisons to Rope, to the couple in Rope. And if you guys have never heard about the true story that inspired Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, in real life, both people involved in killing that guy went to prison. And they went to prison for like 20 years, and then they got out and they lived in South America for the rest of their lives. They had a fun time. They had a grand time. And it could have been the same thing with Kim and Jimmy, where they both go to prison, they both face consequences, and then they both get out and be together forever. But instead, he decided, since Walter is bad now for some reason, which I'm Team Walter, by the way. He's the protagonist. I'm going to be on the team of whatever the protagonist is. Whoever the protagonist is, I mean. And so I'm not ashamed to like Walter. I don't understand why anyone would be. Because, you can acknowledge that he's an evil person and that he did a lot of evil stuff. But that makes his character a lot more intriguing. And it makes his character a lot more interesting than just bad guy, good guy, bad guy, good guy. And same with Skyler. That's why her character ended up being good at the end, was because she went from being shitty to being great. And so you had those multiple layers and multiple dimensions to her character, rather than just keeping her one way the entire series, where they tried to do that, like with Better Call Saul, where starting with season 4, Kim is the morally superior one, and she can do evil things and then not be held accountable and not have to suffer any consequences. And then Jimmy, he's bad, Chuck was right, and Jimmy has to suffer the consequences for her, too. That's another thing, for her. So if he got raped in prison by a gang of people, which probably won't happen at all, but if he did, basically, he'd have to take it for Kim. And I just find that stupid. I find it asinine. And I find it typical of 2022 Hollywood. And it's sad that they've really gone down this route, the woke route. Because that's really where we've gotten with Better Call Saul Season 6. In fact, I really think that the original writers, they probably had a much better Season 6 planned. And Vince came in and he rewrote everything. And he said, no, we're not doing that with Jeff. We're going to make Jeff a sleazy little idiot, Bart Simpson type character. We're going to recast him. And Marion, we're going to have this Marion character. She's going to be a woman who Jimmy tries to kill so that we can recreate Ozymandias and get more belief that Jimmy bad. And, we can really see now as an audience what was behind the scenes. Because they've been really secretive. They've been really secretive, saying that the story wrote itself. That's all they've really said about it. But now we can really see the full picture. And it's a shame. It's embarrassing. And I would just say, don't ever support anything these people make again. Because it's going to end the same way. It's exactly like with what Chuck said to Jimmy. He said, no matter what you think you're doing right now, all you're going to end up doing is hurting everyone around you. And then there's going to be this show of remorse, and it's like, I know you think it's real, but it's just a show, and you're just going to hurt everyone. That's what these writers have done. they hurt all the characters in the show. They hurt the entire universe. They hurt the fans. And then at the end of the show, they said, "Thank you, fanboys." You know, they really just completely destroyed the whole universe and their whole careers, too, as writers. Because now we're on to them. And now we know that they're not creative. They have all these restraints. They have all these agendas. They have all these things that are unnatural and don't have anything to do with the actual story and characters. These things that are coming into play with the story and characters, like these things from the outside are not supposed to impact what's inside. There's a reason why you call it the writer's room. It's because the writer's room is supposed to be where the writers write, and then everything else outside the writer's room is irrelevant. And so the whole thing of like making the show all about Kim and basically treating it like a redemption for Skyler is stupid, because they destroyed Kim. They made Kim unlikable. I loved her in seasons 1 through 3. Not anymore. Not the seasons 4 through 6 Kim, when they tried and tried and tried. And then they tried to make me not like Jimmy, and now I love Jimmy. And I only don't like some of the things he's done. But who cares? Like, all the characters in the whole universe do bad things. That's the whole point. And yet, it's all of a sudden become about black and white. Very, very superficial, one-dimensional drama written by people who aren't creative, and they're restricting, or at least they're restricting their creativity so that it can't come out. And that's pretty bad. So, please like this video, comment, tell me what you think about this retarded interview, because I thought that was really embarrassing, all those comments. And then please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more honest videos about the Breaking Bad characters and universe. Goodbye.